We just got a couple items on the table here to take care of. And, but first we want to start with, are there any bill introductions for today? Anybody have any bill introductions? Senator Dahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one. It's RS 2796, and an act concerning health and environment.
Thank you very much. Committee, any questions? Seeing no objections, the bill is read in. Our next order of business is final action on Senate Bill 358, the water transfer project. And since we had a motion yesterday and a second, that's still on the floor, we will proceed from there. So the motion been made and seconded, and now we can vote on that. So any discussion? Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, thank all the members of the committee for letting me have the opportunity. I was able to talk with Chief Engineer in the Water Office, and my understanding is it may be appropriate to add a comment about sustainability, but probably more appropriate in the Water Transfer Act than in this bill. Also, it may be worth considering broadening that to look at any time that there's a change made in the type of water rights, say from irrigation to municipal. Because of that, I think it would be best if this bill goes forward as written.
Senator Dahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Because of non-controversial of this bill, I would like to could we put it on the consent calendar.
Consent?
Excuse me?
Consent calendar?
Yeah.
Not Senate consent calendar.
Okay, there is a request. Committee, all in favor of put it on the consent calendar? Say aye.
Aye.
We need to vote first on the first one or not? We had a first.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have the vote on the floor already to pass it out favorably. All in favor? Let's get the motion. The first motion is to pass it out favorably, and that's where we're at right now. So all of those in favor of passing the bill out favorably, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Bill is passed out. Now, Senator Dahl, you requested a...
So I moved it because of the non-controversial of this bill, put it on a substitute motion, put it on a consent calendar. Senate.
You don't need a substitute motion.
Okay.
It's just...
I thought you told me I need.
Okay.
I just want it on a consent calendar, okay. However the rules
Request,
are, you know.
The request is for the consent calendar. Is that committee all in favor of that? Say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No comment. So the bill is on the consent calendar by vote. Did you have a question? Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. That should take care of our Senate Bill 358. Next, we're going to move to discussion on Senate Bill 346, and we will have the reviser give us a little rundown of where we're at and the technical pieces that were corrected. So, Tamara, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, committee. Senate Bill 346 would amend several statutes relating to milk and dairy products, including dealing with the on-farm retail sale of milk or milk products. Definitions and fee sunsets are the primary things. And when I presented this bill to you earlier, I did note that there were a couple of errors that got left out of the bill. I do have a balloon to correct those errors if you would like to take a look at that.
Does everybody have a copy of the balloon?
Not yet.
Okay, does everybody have a copy? Go ahead, Tamara.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So these corrections, the first one is on page 8, starting in line 19. The existing fee of 0.01 should have been 0.0075. And then a couple lines down where it says is processed into grade A milk or grade A milk products, that should be grade A milk products, or other dairy products. And then the final correction is on page 11 in line 9. There's a citation to a statute that does not exist, so this would correct that citation.
All right, committee, any questions on the amendment for the corrections? Any questions? Senator Pack.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So did I hear the reviser say that the 0.0075 is current law?
Current law is 0.01.
So we're changing that with this amendment.
Only because the volume milk with the new dairy coming on would blend that down, even less fees.
Okay, which I'm always good with reducing costs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions on the amendment? We need a motion to approve the amendment. Want to move it?
I move we approve the amendment.
Moved by Senator Ware, is second. By Senator McGinn. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Amendment is adopted. Committee, what next item for changes? Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Labeling. I'm a sophomore here, and I have done a lot of thinking on this, and I kind of come from the old school of the simpler you keep it, the better. People's going to be more apt to read it. And my thought was that we just simply put this product is unpasteurized. You know, somebody might give me a definition between raw and unpasteurized. And then when you get into bacteria, I'm thinking if somebody wants to know what pasteurized is, they can go Google it. You know, but when you go out to the farm with what we've got here, the person that's going to be explaining that's the farmer. You know, somebody asked that question, and and if we think we needed more than that, maybe put caution with it. But the less wording, the better on labeling. That's my humble opinion.
I got that understanding that you're looking to simplify it and make it, so we have other proposals. Maybe we want to look at those and we'll decide from that. So
From that too, okay.
Senator Straub, you have one amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Senator Fagg here in keeping labeling as simple as possible, and I do have an amendment. I believe the reviser here has this. On page 2 of the bill, in line 7, it would simply require any such advertisement shall not be false or misleading and shall state that such milk or milk products are raw or unpasteurized. So you could put raw milk or unpasteurized. Is that sufficient, or are you
What's the
wanting
difference
it?
between the two? Between raw milk and unpasteurized milk? You know, to me, you're going to the farm, you know, to get it, and they know it's there. I'm just thinking, I'd question whether we need raw in there. You know, just this product is unpasteurized.
Senator Straub.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maybe we could refer to some of our audience members for a question on this. I believe that a lot of people who sell raw milk on the farm currently may have a sign at the end of their driveway that says raw milk for sale. It may not say unpasteurized. It may say unpasteurized. I'm not certain, but that's the reason for my proposal of it saying raw milk or unpasteurized. And I would assume that most consumers, if not all, that are seeking raw milk know exactly what they're going to purchase. Yeah.
Let's get the attorney involved. Mr. Titus, you want to come and just give us the same thing, but what is it between raw and unpasteurized?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Kenny Titus, Chief Counsel for the Kansas Department of Agriculture. The switch from or and to or make sense because of the signage. I can tell you when we wrote that provision, we were thinking less about signage and more about the online advertisements and things like that. But the or makes sense as far as the labeling. I think we have a slight preference as the labeling on the bottles themselves. We prefer unpasteurized. We think it's a clearer term to the average consumer now. Not everyone may know exactly what raw milk means if it's raw milk in isolation. So for the label itself, we prefer unpasteurized, but as far as the advertising restrictions, or seems to make sense.
Any questions for the councilor? Seeing none, thank you very much. Senator Straub.
In the bill, and I'm sorry I didn't review it closer, is there different labeling required for the bottle versus the advertisement?
It's slightly different language. The reviser could read that.
Go ahead, Tamara, if you got a distinction.
The label would have to say on the current bill, not the balloon, this product contains raw milk that is not pasteurized and could contain bacteria that may cause foodborne illness. Under the balloon, the label would say this product contains raw milk, and the advertising requires that it shall state that such milk or milk products are raw and currently and unpasteurized, but under the balloon it would be are raw or unpasteurized.
That was my intent. Is the department okay with that?
They technically mean the same thing. We just worry as the average consumer gets farther from the farm, what exactly raw milk means in relation to pasteurization maybe will become less clear. So that's why we have a preference for pasteurization over raw on the actual product, but they technically mean the same thing, and we'd leave it to the wisdom of the committee on what they should say.
Senator Straub.
Just as a follow-up argument to that, I went and looked at my milk jug and a number of them, and it says, vitamin D, whole milk, pasteurized, homogenized. So in the grocery store, we are assuming that the consumer understands what pasteurized means. So I would assume that if you know what pasteurized means, you should know what unpasteurized means. That was simply trying to keep things as concise and simple as possible. Yeah.
Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sitting here thinking, could we just say this product is raw, unpasteurized milk? When you say raw or unpasteurized, it's kind of like there's two different things there.
Right. I have no objection to that either.
Senator Straub, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, thank you, Senator Fagg. The reason for my amendment saying raw milk or unpasteurized is that I think that a lot of consumers of raw milk, they refer to it as raw milk. I think the department and the people that are concerned with bacteria and foodborne illness, they're using the term unpasteurized. So to keep things good for everyone, my amendment is to allow it to say raw milk or, milk, unpasteurized milk, as long as it says raw or unpasteurized. So it's giving you two options. And to keep the wording as short on the bottle, because like some of our proponents had testified, is that some of these people are writing it on there by hand. So I'm trying to keep things as short and simple as we possibly can.
All right, everybody clear what we're writing on there now? Understanding of that, Mr. Titus? Yep. Yes, we need a motion for your amendment. So Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just believe that the word unpasteurized may be more helpful to a number of consumers. And I agree very much with striking and could contain bacteria that could cause foodborne illness. But I think having the word unpasteurized helps convey that without talking more about the foodborne illness. So I like a lot of this amendment, but I'm not comfortable yet with the wording. Perhaps we should work on this and then we could continue to look at some language.
We're going to vote on this, on the proposal right now. Does everybody understand what Senator Straub, make it clear what you're put in your amendment? Senator Tamara, reviser.
Just to clarify, it sounded like Senator Straub was asking for 2 options for people to label their milk. So in order to draft that, I would have it clearly visible and states the following or its equivalent in a clearly visible font size. This product contains raw milk, or this product contains unpasteurized milk. The consumer would have the option to do this product contains raw milk. That would be one option. Or a different label, this product contains unpasteurized milk.
That was not my intent to put this product contains. I think keeping the wording as short and simple as possible is what's more clear to the consumer. Like I noted, my milk that I bought from the grocery store only says pasteurized. It doesn't explain to me what pasteurization is in any way. It doesn't say this product is free of bacteria, because even with that, even with pasteurization, we can't absolutely, without a doubt, ensure that there's never going to be bacteria in it. So in order to keep things just as simple as possible for the consumer, raw milk or unpasteurized. Those 3 words, or those 2 words, or that 1 word. I really want to nail this down to keep it simple. I think putting this product contains, it clutters up the labeling. It requires people that are handwriting this to put, more words that are really not necessary, in my opinion.
Tamara, go ahead.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, bears a label that is clearly visible and states the following or its equivalent in a clearly visible font size: raw milk or, quote, unpasteurized milk.
Senator Straub, is that what's your language?
Yes, that's what I thought I had in the amendment, sorry.
Counselor, is that, the department live with that? The language you had there, so. Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When we just put milk, when you go to the farm to buy this milk, do they sell other products out there that's got milk in it? And I'm talking cheese, or should we use the word product instead of just milk? That just hit me here.
Counselor, what is that? What's the legal?
Is there anything else that comes off the farm that's other than milk that's unpasteurized?
Sorry. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Jeff Jones. I'm the Dairy and Feed Safety Program Manager at KDA. So yes, you are correct, Senator Fagg. They would potentially have, cheese or yogurt, those type of items that may be produced with raw milk and unpasteurized. So that the term products is probably why we had that in there initially. So
Thank you very much. All right, committee, I think we've got an understanding of what the amendment says. Senator Straub, you want to explain it one more time so we know what we're...
Yeah, to clarify, for products like cheese or yogurt or ice cream that may contain raw milk, I don't feel like it's necessary to put that it contains raw milk. I mean, if you're buying cheese, you probably know that cheese is made from milk, but if you put unpasteurized on that cheese label or unpasteurized on your yogurt label or unpasteurized on your ice cream label. People are going to know, because we already, all of us already assume that we know what pasteurization means because our milk in the grocery store says pasteurized. It does not explain anything else about pasteurization other than it gives us the word. So to keep things, again, very simple, cheese, milk, yogurt, whatever, it could just say unpasteurized. And if you're selling just milk in a bottle, it could say just raw milk. That's as simple as I can make it.
I think what he was saying, using the word products is included, then that includes those?
I would prefer not to have to put all of those words that this product contains. You could if you wanted to, but I think in order to make the requirement of the minimum labeling is it would have to say raw milk if it's milk, or if it's unpasteurized, it needs to say unpasteurized. Does anybody disagree with that? Anybody in the that's selling raw milk or unpasteurized products from the farm, do they disagree with that simple labeling?
Senator Fagg has a comment. Senator Fagg has a comment.
And this will be the last time I'll say something, and I'm going to do what you want to do here, Senator. This product is raw or unpasteurized. And we're wanting to keep it simple. And so whether the product's milk or cheese or whatever, just 4 or 5 words like that, and we've got raw in there for what you had talked about. That was just my opinion. I'd throw to you on whatever minute. This product is raw or unpasteurized, period. Okay, but there's going to be other things that come up technically. Yeah. Okay.
We're going to go back to the Straub amendment as she explained it, and we'll vote on that. If one changes. Senator Fagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the balloon that we were given for the amendment is not what we're voting on, or we're voting on exactly as it was given to us?
We approved the amendment on the.
No, I'm sorry, the Straub amendment.
We're on the Straub amendment.
Right.
Now we approved the amendment from the department.
I understand.
Correct that stuff.
I understand that. My point is, I was given some language in an amendment. Is this what we're voting on, or has the wording been changed from what this piece of paper has, is my question. I just want to make certain that I can make notes so I know exactly what I'm voting on, because this amendment's clear to me. I'm fine with it. We can get into the weeds, and I understand asking questions, but, you know, if we're all going to turn into lawyers, we're all going to have to lower our IQ significantly. I just said that for the benefit of one. I guess I shouldn't say for all lawyers, but at least one in the room. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Something better than milk, I guess. So, anyway, back on the Straub amendment, let's make sure we know what the language says. And Tamara, the reviser, straighten it out for us.
The way that I understand what is out there right now is new section 2, subsection A, which begins at the very bottom of page 1. That section would read, "The on-farm retail sale of milk or milk products shall be lawful so long as each container of unpasteurized raw milk sold or offered for sale bears a label that is clearly visible and states the following or its equivalent in a clearly visible font size. Quote, raw milk, quote, or, quote, unpasteurized, quote."
Everybody understand that now? That's what the Straub amendment is. So, all right. Any other questions? Senator McGinn. Oh, okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second to vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Senator Francisco.
Mr. Chair, I did have my hand up for discussion, but this amendment has been adopted and we can proceed. I did also have an amendment that I think answered some of Senator Straub's concerns about the wording, and if Tamara could pass that out.
Everybody got a copy of the amendment? Oh. All right. Explain the amendment, Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I absolutely agree with Senator Straub and wanted to strike the language about this product contains, because sometimes the product is, in fact, raw milk. Sometimes it's cheese that's been made with raw milk. So, and I also am a little concerned with the wording or its equivalent, which now remains in the amendment, because we're talking just about raw milk or unpasteurized milk. So the opening up equivalents to those seems to just muddy those waters. So the part of this amendment that I still think may be appropriate would be to strike the word states and use includes, strike or its equivalent on the next page, and include wording. So it would just be each container bears a label that's clearly visible and includes wording in a clearly visible font size. And I was saying raw milk, not pasteurized. I think I would change that or to simply say raw unpasteurized milk.
How does that affect her amendment?
It would, and Tamara can help with that, it would probably change just that first part. It would still keep the or in the advertising. And perhaps we can work to make sure that your, what you wanted to say. So I think the question for the committee is, do we want the label to say unpasteurized, or are we comfortable with it just saying raw? And to me, unpasteurized is helpful to consumers. If that's the case, then we should also probably keep that word unpasteurized in advertising.
Senator Straub.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the intent here, the bill is to create the minimum required wording on the label. And so I think it's okay to leave in there or its equivalent, because if someone wants to write out this product contains raw milk or this product is unpasteurized, they most certainly can still do so. Under the way I think my amendment was written, they could still do that if they so chose. But to set minimum standards, it would be the label has to say raw milk, or if it's not milk, if it's cheese or something else, at minimum, it has to say unpasteurized. That's it. I don't know. I'm not necessarily opposed to Senator Francisco's amendment, but I think my amendment keeps things a little more simple.
I think it does too. Committee, you understand, Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The reason I thought mine was more simple was because instead of having to state a particular wording, it just says includes these words. So you don't have to, you can add anything else to that label, but those words have to be in it. So my question then would be, if you would be, you could say raw, but you could say raw cheese or raw milk cheese, and you wouldn't have to say it's unpasteurized? In the way we read it right now, you would not have to say it's unpasteurized. So I'm just asking for a requirement at either in the advertising or on the label that we use the word unpasteurized.
So that's your suggestion, unpasteurized. Somebody want to make that a more form of an amendment? I don't think we're going to do it by consent.
Well, I did it sort of in this amendment, but actually at this point, it seems that we should be voting on something that's in front of us in writing and be clear about both the advertisement and the wording in new section 2. So we need to understand the label, and we need to understand the advertising, and I'm not sure that we're there yet. I don't think we have something in front of us in writing to compare.
I don't think, at this point, the decision is you want to accept, make an amendment for your language, or we're going to vote on it. We already have approved the language that the Senator Straub had, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I would make an amendment, looking at my language, that strikes the word states, add the words includes. So that's what's on the front page of this. Strike or its equivalent in a clearly visible font size, and then use the wording that was already in there for Senator Straub said, that raw milk or unpasteurized milk.
Revisor, how does that change your language?
My understanding from that explanation is this would not impact the language that you just adopted for the label. What it would do is, instead of the label stating the following or its equivalent, the label would have to be clearly visible and include the wording that you already adopted with Senator Straub's amendment.
Committee understand that? Anybody? Any other questions? Seeing none, you want to make that a motion?
I would move that amendment.
Is there a second? Been a second. Motion been made and seconded to add that language as Senator Francisco proposed. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. Motion failed. Committee, any other questions or discussion on the amendment, on the bill? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to pass it out favorably. Have a motion and a second by Senator Fagg to pass the bill out favorably as amended. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Committee, that takes care of our work for today. And thank you for your patience and your input to get this correct. We appreciate that very much. So with that, we are adjourned.